Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we're going to be looking at a new Aipom card. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, you heard that right. Not Ambipom, Aipom. It is a promo that is coming out over in Japan now. As I've said about the gym promos, we often get these quite late, but they have got to be in Cosmic Eclipse. If they're not in Cosmic Eclipse, we're probably never getting them, unless they end up as promos in some of our products. Because we're going to be moving to Sword and Shield, those cards are going to look different and we're just not going to get them. But hopefully we get this promo Aipom, because this Aipom is actually really good. And if we look at the basics, there's actually a lot more to like than there are for a bunch of Pokemon. I mean, straight off the bat, right, we got 60 HP, which means that we're going to be able to search it out using Professor Elm's lecture. And we've got a retreat cost of 1, which means that we're going to be able to retreat it for free with U-Turn Board. So straight off the bat, we've actually got some things we like. Now, we do not like the weakness to fighting. The weakness to fighting is frankly, well, rubbish, ladies and gentlemen, if I'm honest with you. I still expect a lot of Buzzwole to be played because it can take out Pikachu and Zekrom, and no matter how many prize cards you've got remaining, the base damage for Buzzwole is 30. And that is a problem because you've got 60 HP and a weakness to fighting. Love that you can search it out at Professor Owl's lecture, but a weakness is an issue. And it's a colourless Pokemon, so you don't get any extra tricks, but nobody really cares. Because there is one attack here that is a game-winning attack. Yeah, that's right, I said it. Pick off. Discard cards at random from your opponent's hand until they have 5 cards remaining. You get to just discard random cards from your opponent's hand until they've only got 5 left. That's really, really good. Like, really good. Now, to be fair, we have actually seen this slightly better on a Pokemon in the not-too-distant past. This was on the Persian from Team Up. Now, it was called Make 'em Pay, and it does 20 damage. You get to look at your opponent's hand, and you get to discard cards of your choice until they have exactly 4 cards remaining. Persian is better than this. So why am I getting excited about this? And the reason is extremely simple. Basic Pokemon, single colourless energy. You see, Persian is a stage 1. So you've basically got 2 options to use Persian. Option number 1, you use Ditto Prism Star that can evolve up into any stage 1. You evolve it into Persian, you use it. Cool. The problem is, if you're only using 1 Ditto Prism Star, there are 2 things that could go very, very wrong. Number 1, it's prized, you can never have Persian. Number 2, your opponent KOs Ditto Prism Star. And it's not that difficult to do. Now, we are in a format at the moment where gusting is difficult. Your opponent is going to need something like double Custom Catcher, but you've got 40 HP. It is not difficult to KO that sitting on the bench. And then it's gone for the game. Now, maybe you're playing a Persian deck. I mean, certainly Persian GX is very good and sees a lot of play. So you tech this in, but the problem is your opponent knows it's coming. If you play a Ditto Prism Star or a Meowth, your opponent can guess that it's coming. Especially if you're playing a Persian deck. So your opponent can play around it. Your opponent can try and stop you getting full value off of your attack. Aipom has got the surprise factor that Persian can only dream of. Basic Pokemon, single colourless energy. Unless you get greedy and want an attack for 0 energy, which is exceedingly greedy, it couldn't be easier to use. It couldn't be easier to get Aipom rolling here. And then your opponent is kind of in a bit of a mess. That's why I love Aipom. The other thing is, it's just less space in your deck. It's just easier. But how often is your opponent going to have more than 5 cards in hand? Sometimes. I mean, there's a series of GX attacks here that we can kind of take advantage of and laugh a little bit. So you've got Drampa GX, only legal and expanded, whereby you shuffle your hand into your deck and draw 10 cards. We've got Rayquaza GX, whereby you discard your hand and draw 10 cards. And you've got Eevee and Snorlax Tag Team GX, whereby you draw cards until you've got 10 cards in hand. So you put them down to 5, and 5 is fine. But that basically means that Rayquaza has just used a Sightseer and chosen to discard their entire hand. It means that Drampa has just used a Tate and Liza. These are not phenomenal cards. They are not worth using your GX attack to get. But really here I'm thinking of stall decks. So let's say I'm playing Beheeyem. Beheeyem is a great card that for essentially a triple acceleration energy, you do 90 damage, you shuffle Beheeyem and all cards attached to it into your deck, and your opponent cannot play item cards from their hand during their next turn. Oh, cool. That actually sounds pretty good, and it actually is pretty good. We like it. We're in favour of it. And what's going to happen kind of inevitably here is that your opponent is going to end up with a large card of hands. Or, I suppose I probably should say, a large hand of cards. Boom. And the thing is, there are different ways to take advantage of this. They can't play their item cards. They've got a large hand. One of the things we do is we play Copycat. And Hampus Eriksson, who went 6-0 day 1 at Worlds with Beheeyem, did exactly this. He played one copy of Copycat. And then you get to just grab a whole bunch of cards. Your opponent's got a hand of 11 or 12 cards. Hey, now you've got a hand of 11 or 12 cards. But the other thing to do is stop them. Because you know what? I've been testing Beheeyem a lot lately, and dirty little secret, it's hard to get the lock going every turn. It really can be. Something as simple as your opponent playing a Lysander Labs to turn off your U-turn board could mean that you actually break the lock, and that's a bad thing. But if you use Aipom, yes, okay, you are breaking the lock yourself, but you're also making sure that your opponent has got a much worse hand. You can put them down from a 15-card hand to a 5-card hand, they lose 10 cards, and even though they're not item locked anymore, they probably don't have the options that they wish they had. It's a really big advantage. And once again, yes, of course you can use a Lowland Persian, but that is 2 spots in your deck rather than 1. Which makes it a lot less easy to put in. We've all edited decks here, there and everywhere, and the fact of the matter is making 1 space in your deck might be possible, making 2 spaces in your deck might not. The other thing is, this is just a phenomenal counter to Unknown Hand. This will destroy Unknown Hand. Now, it has been banned and expanded, but we still got it in standard for now. And Unknown Hand, if you've got 35 or more cards in your hand, put it active, win the game. And there is a deck you can play for this at the moment with Salazzle. Because Salazzle, you discard a fire energy from your hand, draw 3 cards. Well, brilliant. Keep drawing, keep drawing, keep drawing, keep drawing. Then, of course, all your fire energy's in the discard, but you use Fire Crystal to drag it out, and then it's just sitting there in your hand. You end up with 35 or more cards in hand, you win the game. It is an option. We'll have to test it out to see exactly how good of an option, but it is at least an option for now. And sure, Reset Stamp. And that will work once. But what if they keep doing it? What if you just keep drawing cards after the Reset Stamp? What if you can't find your Reset Stamp? It's an item card. Item cards aren't easy to search out. Sure, if you're playing greens they are, but they're not always easy to search out. Was Aipom 60 HP basic, much easier to search out. Single energy. And the great thing here is that those cards get discarded. They're not going back into their hand. They are being discarded. They're not coming back. And if you do this once or twice, your opponent literally is not going to have enough cards in order to win the game. If you're playing in a meta game where you're worried about Unknown Hand, this is the perfect counter. 1 card, basic energy, go. Now there is a second attack here, but I'm not excited. 2 colourless energy, 30 damage, flip a coin. If tails, this attack does nothing. Well, we don't have double colourless energy anymore. It doesn't do enough damage to KO a Ditto, and that's basically where I finish on my analysis of that attack. It's not good. But not everything needs to be good, ladies and gentlemen. This has one good attack that I like, and it is a great tech for a number of reasons. But I'd like... Oh, wait, sorry, Wassy score. 3 Wassies. It is exactly the kind of card you want to put a copy or 2 in your binder so that you can play it if you're ever worried about a deck that draws large hand sizes. But I'd like to know if you're ever thinking about playing this, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk about a whole bunch of games that don't even have any Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.